So what happens when life sends you a curveball or gives you a detour and you are forced to do something that you didn't want to do? What do? In this case, I'm going to turn it into a YouTube video. Let's start with the toilet wax ring replacement. Coming up. Hey guys, Dan with Fathers for All. It is Sunday night. I would rather be doing anything but what I have to do next. I have just about a week ago, I replaced the wax ring off my toilet in the main bathroom in my house and used one of those better than wax rubber gaskets. And everything worked fine for just about a week. And then today, we started getting water all over underneath the toilet when we flushed. So, that weekend when I did that project, I said it would probably be cool to do a how-to video for the YouTube channel just to give young men, adults, parents, I don't know, anyone doing a home improvement DIY project, just the know-how or the skills on how to do this. I'm sure plenty of people have done it before, but I just wanted to offer it as something that dads sometimes do. And I was so focused on the project that I didn't bother to get out the camera or document any of it. So I did my main bathroom, replaced the wax ring like on a Thursday or Friday night. And then I wound up doing it again on the other bathroom and putting in a whole new toilet. And I'm like, man, that was an opportunity missed. Well, it just seems like fate has driven me again to pulling off a toilet and replacing the seal again. So this time I'm going to do it, and I'm hoping that I won't have to do it again after this. So I figured I'd take you along for the journey. What do you need for a wax ring to pull a toilet off and replace the wax seal and all that other stuff? Well, let me show you. First, you're going to need a wrench. One of these will do. This will be used to, especially adjustable crescent wrench. So this thing will be used to undo the water supply line, and it will be used to undo the bolts at the base of the toilet. That's pretty much it. I don't think there should be anything else that you have to do outside of that. The other thing you're going to want to need is some towels. If you have a shop vac that can do water, pull out the filter, because you're going to need to drain the toilet. Yeah, because when you move the toilet and pull it off, you want to make sure that all the water's out. And you don't have to dry it out completely, but you do want to make sure it's drained. Some other things you're going to need is, this is just like a little crowbar. I used it to kind of scrape off and get underneath and get that old wax seal out. It helps so that I'm not getting my hands messy, but if you don't have that, you can use something else. You don't want to damage anything that you're doing, so you'd use this sparingly. You want some gloves, preferably, unless you enjoy nasty wax, but some gloves on your hands when you're doing the project. The other thing you could use is something like a 5-in-1 just to get that wax ring out and get any excess wax out. I always get some extra rags and some stuff to just clean up the spot. And then I used a screwdriver to sometimes pop off those plastic vanity caps so that you can use the wrench to get that cleared off. If you were installing a new toilet, you'd want to have your measuring tape so you can measure the distance from the back wall of the bathroom to where the bolts are going to come out of, so that you're making sure that you get the right toilet with the right fit. I did this on my other bathroom with a new toilet, and I measured about 11 inches, and the toilet that I installed was like 10.5 or something. And so the bolts, instead of going straight up and down, are cockeyed. Ironically, that's not the toilet that's having a problem with the leak. However, it does have one of those better than wax rings, and I'm worried now that the better than wax ring that I installed in the primary bathroom has started leaking in less than a week. So I'm afraid either something is wrong, it didn't seal properly, or I have no clue what's going on. So I bought, instead, I wanted to get something more than just a wax ring, because those things are messy, but they are pretty reliable. But I've noticed in the past when you put a wax ring on, you gotta line it up just right, and you gotta set it down. You got one shot and you're done. You gotta set it down and get it down right away. I went with the better than wax rings because I wanted to maybe position. I wanted to reposition sometimes. So this is a hybrid. This is a perfect seal wax ring with bolts, and it has the wax ring on the interior there, but it also has like a rubber gasket and stuff. So I'm hoping that this will be a little bit better. This is just a couple bucks more than a wax ring. So the last thing I want to be doing on a Sunday evening, I'd rather be editing videos and all this other stuff. But sometimes when life sends you a curveball, you got to take it by the horns and you got to knock it out. Otherwise, I'm going to have my family not able to use a restroom, and we'll be down to one bathroom. Oh, heaven forbid, down to one bathroom. I know it's like first world problems, but it is what it is. It's part of being a homeowner and part of being a dad. When you have a home repair, most of the time the family's looking to you to do that home repair. So there's no sense in delaying it any further. I went out and grabbed this right away, and let's get to it. First things first, you're going to want to turn off the supply line. That'll ensure that no further water is coming through here. Then you're going to also want to take that bolt off there. It's going to get wet. All right. Then you're going to want to drain out the toilet. We didn't have any leaks this time, but we had leaks earlier, so. All right, I've removed the back panel of the toilet. You can see the water's drained down a little bit. And then after flushing the toilet, you can see I got a little bit of a moisture there. So you can use a towel to soak up that water, or you can use the shop vac. Make sure you take off the filter, because the filter will get all wet and it'll ruin it. The shop vac makes it very quick and easy. What we're going to do is we're going to take off that cap and just, that was really loose. I did put a mark. I don't know if you can see that. I did put a little Sharpie marker on the bolt there. When this is lined up flush against the wall, that line, just with a little Sharpie marker, that way I know underneath that the bolt is marked up. We'll show you that when we get the toilet off. I'm gonna take some towels and lay them out so I can lift the toilet. We're gonna lift this toilet off and we're gonna slide it away and deal with the gasket. So I'm gonna take a towel or two just so I can find the spot for the toilet, put it on there, and we'll lay these out on the floor just so that way there's not water everywhere. And there it is. There's the install. Where's that water leaking? Right? Yeah, I don't know why. I don't see any seal breakage here. Anyhow, we have it off and we're going to replace it. Normally this is all like wax here, and you can see a little bit left over there. These guys here come out, but these are brand new, so I'm just going to keep using them. Okay, so as a side note, there's just an opportunity. If you have your toilet pulled off, as we do here, and you have this completely open space here, you might as well take an opportunity to clean it up. So I just grab, Simple Green or whatever my favorite cleaner is, just clean up the floor and behind there, because quite honestly, when the toilet's installed, no one wants to climb behind a toilet and clean it. So to use this opportunity to do a nice little wipe down, and then it only takes a second and you'll be happy once the toilet's clean, installed, and ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna open up this wax ring set. It's pretty simple. This is my first time using one of these. There is a wax, that's the wax ring right here. Okay, so that's gonna expand once you put that into place. And then this is an optional gasket and your bolt kit. These are really long bolts. Your plastic spacers to hold these in place, and then you'll have your washers and your nuts. So, your nuts, these nuts. All right. So this is an optional gasket if your flange, if your drain pipe is below the floor, you want this added in. Otherwise, what we're going to do today is just this, because ours is above or flush with the floor. So this wax ring along with this should be more than enough. This wax ring, you want to make sure that that's going to create a good seal so that no water comes out. So we're good to go. That's going to sit kind of high, so the toilet is going to really sit into that. I think it's going to be, it's a little higher than I thought. My other toilet, maybe I did need the gasket. I don't know. All right, we'll give this a go. I'm going to be gripping right here. This is kind of where the weight distribution is at the center. And for one person, you can grab it on either side and lift the whole toilet up onto that. This is the moment of truth. We're going to take this in, and I hope I don't kick my camera down when I do it. We're going to lift this and slide it up over here. And I'm going to have to lift this toilet up over this gasket and set it down and align the bolts at the same time. Ideally, this would be great if it was a two-person job, but it's not. So let's see if we can get this on camera. Watch. Okay, so just by inspecting, these bolts are a lot longer than the original one, so I think I'm going to have to pull these bolts out and put in the longer ones. So that what the importance of this little plastic piece is it helps make sure these bolts line up. And you can spin them on that way too. Just takes forever. So once you get it where you think you need it, all right, a lot of times a couple reasons why you put a cloth over the hole. One, so you don't drop anything down the hole, and two, it helps with odors, if there are any. Sometimes there are not. Taking a Sharpie marker. Okay, so this is perpendicular. I'm gonna You can do this either way. If you want to draw the line with the things in line like that, that's fine. I did it this way so that way I know that flat again, this line flat against this wall means that these things are underneath this part here. It just helps solidify the toilet a little bit when I'm putting that in. So, all right, so pull this off again. This probably takes me more time than most pros do, but it's all about getting it right the first time you do it. So at the end of the day, if it takes you longer, let's say 2 hours to do something, it should have taken someone else only an hour, but you did it right, then you know that's okay. Take your time with that home improvement project. So the toilet's in place. You put your washer on. Now, these are for these things to cover it, which means that's a pretty big screw. So, might have to cut it. It stays in the right spot. So you can see that line on that bolt, and I can ensure that that bolt is firmly gripping the underside accurately, the underside of the drain pipe, so we're not going to have any problems. Alright, we're going to do the same here. After tightening one side, you might discover that the other side needs a little more tightening. Because as you're tightening, that wax seal down on the bottom is expanding. All right, I heard a pop there, but I think that was just one of the plastic tabs underneath, making me nervous. If it was easy, people would do it all the time. Quite honestly, the other motto that I've come to discover as being a homeowner, being a dad, is that sometimes, no matter how simple you think the project is, there's always a chance it might go a little askew, and you might have a problem that you didn't expect. Which is the same goes with YouTube and doing videos online. Sometimes you'll do something that works, and other times you'll do something that you think works, and it's not going to work that way. One thing that I forgot to mention as a supply is a bucket. Why do you need a bucket? Well, what you do before you hook up your supply line and get your whole toilet filled up is I do fill up a bucket and I do a flush test with a bucket. And the reason why I do that is so that way, if there is a problem, I don't have to unhook the supply line and then go through that whole process of draining the toilet. I only would have to drain the bowl. So I just take the bucket and fill her up. I mean, when you think about it, when a toilet flushes, the reason why it flushes is because the inflow of extra water into the bowl creates the flush. and that inflow of water is from the tank behind it. So you can simulate a flush by putting extra water down the bowl, and if everything goes down well and you don't have any leaks on the floor, then you're in good shape. So we're gonna give this a try and see how it goes. All right, y'all. So made sure that this is all dried up. We have no leaks. Our bolts back here are tight. Toilet's firm. We're good to go. So now what we're going to do is a flush test. And I do more than one to make sure we're not getting any water. All right, let's do this one more time. Go. We will reconnect the supply line. So, in the old days, you'd need plumber's tape. You'd need plumber's tape along this thread here in order to keep water from seeping out. But this is a specialized supply line with a gasket in there, so when you tighten this, it seals it, and it's not gonna leak on you. And you technically could probably get these things only finger tight. It would work, but I wouldn't recommend that. I'm not a plumber. And I'm no professional toilet installer. I'm just a home improvement dad, saving myself and my family a little bit of money on a task that should be pretty easy. So part of experiencing freedom in your life is gaining new skills and not being afraid to try new things. Turn this on and we're good. Check for leaks here. No leaks. And there's the inside of a toilet. Filling up. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you learned maybe a tip or a trick. The one thing that typically no one shows during a toilet installation video is the cleanup. You know, you just think it through. You've just moved something that shoots waste into the sewer. So if you put that onto the floor or anything like that, or the wax you've been handling, I don't know, it's just gross. So just wash up real well and take a minute to clean the floors of where you've been tracking in and moving around and stuff. Any rags that you've used during the process, send them down for the wash or pitch them. especially if they've handled that wax or used the rags with the wax or anything, just get rid of it. The same thing goes for any of the trash. I mean, it's pretty redundant and pretty stupid stuff, but you know, if you have kids around, you don't want to leave a trash bag that has toilet wax still in the bathroom. You never know what they're going to touch or what they're going to get their hands into. My boy, he likes to touch everything, and everything needs to be touched for some reason. But yet sometimes he complains about he doesn't want his hands dirty. And I'm like, you get your hands dirty all the time. It's the irony of having little kids. So I hope that this brought you value. I think for me, I had to do it anyways, so I figured I might as well turn it into a YouTube video. And if you like this video or other videos like it, in this channel for Fathers for All, we talk about faith, freedom, and fatherhood. And this follows under the freedom and fatherhood, in my opinion. And so I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.